Catherine Yurleola Yavivas. I am preparing this video for Professor Lisette Joy Rojas. I am a student of Sur Colombiana University, and today I came to tell you about a great story that I just read, and I am fascinated. So let's talk about a little bit more about it. The name of the story is Rip Van Winkle. This is the first page of the story, as you can see. Its name is also, the protagonist's name is part of a stories collection called Sketchbook of Geoffrey Crichton, published for the first time in 1819. Its author is Washington Irving. I'm going to show you the picture of Washington. This is Washington, if you can see him. So he is called also the father of American literature. It is of a fantastic genre. Also, it has 4 chapters called, the first one, The Van Winkle Family. The second one, here you can see more pictures, A Strange Afternoon. The third one, The Next Morning. And the fourth one, The Spirits of the Catskill Mountains. So, let's talk more about the protagonists. This is Rip Van Winkle. This is him. You can see him better. So he lives in a village of Dutch origin. He loves to go into a village inn where his wife, Mrs. Van Winkle, she says, "No, you cannot go there. Don't come back there again." I have a picture so you can see him. This picture of here, that's his wife. The village inn is called King George III in honor of the British king. He has a daughter, as you can see here in the picture, that she's his daughter, called Judy Gardiner, a son, a dog, he has his dog, this is his dog called Wolf, and friends called Nicholas Vedder, Bram Dutcher, and the teacher, Derek Van Bomet. Okay, so let's talk about the history. One autumn, Rip, he goes to the Catskill Mountains. He loves to go there. I'll show you an example. Wait a minute. As you can see, the hills that he climbed up were like this. If you can see, there are a lot of mountains. So I choose this place because I remember a lot of this story that I just read, and it's just lovely. We can see here in the pictures the examples. Here he is in a tree with his dog. That's Rip. He was young in the part of the story that tells us this part. Well, but what about Rip? Rip is a man that loves to help everyone in the village. Everyone. And when I say everyone, it's everybody. He likes to help a lot his friend, especially Nicholas, and his other friend, Bram Dutcher. But Rip has a, how can I say it? A defect. Yes, definitely is a defect from him, from his personality. And when I read this story, I thought, like, what was his wife thinking when she got married with him? Maybe she didn't know him. But let's keep talking about him. So Rip goes to the inn called King George. We talked about it earlier. But the point of the story is that Rip isn't obedient to his wife. He loves her, maybe, but he loves to go to the Catskill Mountains. The story says that one afternoon he goes to that hill. He wakes up. He climbs up that mountain, and what can I say about it? The story tells us that he was like thinking. He was like reflecting about his life. Maybe the book doesn't say like specifically about it. But suddenly he sees a short, square old man wearing Dutch clothes of the 60s. I mean, when Rip saw this, he tells that he was like surprised, like amazed, like, oh my god, this man is wearing really old clothes. He said, here I'm going to show you another picture. This is Rip. So he sees the man, but before this happened, he tells us that he was like walking to get back to his house, because he thought, oh my god, my wife is going to reject me all again. So he was going to his house, but he listened to somebody yelling at him, or calling him, Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. So he turned around, but he saw nobody. Then the story tells us that he saw someone that is this short, square old man. This is the man, so you can imagine it better. You see he has really old clothes. As Rip loves to help everybody, he thought, oh, maybe I can go and help him. The man, as you can see in the picture, he called a barrel. So he helped him and pick up his barrel and help him to carry it. But he just followed it. He followed the man, and suddenly he was in a place with a lot of men dressed like the same, and they start asking him the drink. The barrel had a drink, and they were playing nipples, like nipples. Rip says that this play sounds like trance, like trance. Then he decided okay, so I'm gonna drink, and he drinks and drinks again, like he liked the drink, and he drinks and drinks, but suddenly he falls asleep. Then he wakes up, and there's no wolf. Wolf was with him, and there's not his gun. He had a gun that he just carried everywhere, maybe because of the time. But there's no wolf, there's not his gun. He had another gun, but he said, that's not my gun. So he just stand up, wake up, he was fall asleep, and he saw the morning, and he said, oh my god, it's already morning, my wife is going to kill me. But the story tells us that this was 20 years later. Rip, technically he lost the time, the memories that he could from his whole life. Then he go to his village where he lived before, but he was confused. Here we have another picture of the man. He arrives to the village, and where before was the inn called King George III, now it is a hotel called the Union Hotel. There's no the King George image anymore, the King George picture. There is a picture that says George Washington. Then he started to talk with men, and he started asking men, where are my friends? Do you know who is Rip Van Winkle? He was so confused, and he said can you imagine just wake up a morning and you don't know anybody, and where you lived is completely different, and his clothes were old, he had a long beard, and everyone looked like, who is this strange? They even thought that he was a spy. But then he turned out, he knew that it was 20 years later, and he was confused. Then he met his daughter, his son, that he told us it was the same as him, that his son didn't like to work as equal as him. And well, this is the story. A reflection that I can give to you, because it is already so many times in this video. So for end quickly, I learned to be obedient to the people that loves us, because Mrs. Van Winkle loved Rip because she knew all his defects, and she didn't left him before She just died waiting for him, maybe at her house, her old house, because the story tells us that he didn't fix or their fences. He didn't clean up even his clothes. His son and his daughter had old clothes. I mean, he was a man that didn't care about his family. So I think that this is an important lesson for us today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I invite you to read this excellent story. Bye bye. I'm Catherine, by the way. I already said it. Bye. God bless you.